Hello, everyone, and happy First Chapter Friday. Today we're going to be reading the first chapter of Live in Infamy by Caroline Tung Richmond. Chapter 1. By the time he turned 16, Wren had witnessed 3 executions. The first criminal had been a boy, barely old enough to shave. Wren had been 7 at the time and had watched from behind his mother's back as the soldiers dragged the boy up the cliff and pushed him to his knees. But that hadn't stopped the boy from shouting, "Freedom or death! Long live the United States of America!" Until at last, he was silenced. The second criminal had been a young father, still dressed in the gray pajamas that he had been wearing when the soldiers first arrested him. His crime? Paying a bribe to free his wife from Alcatraz prison. His sentence? Immediate death. As the winds howled over the Pacific bluffs, the young father had begged for mercy. Not for himself, but for his children. His 3 daughters had also been taken into custody, even the youngest, who still sucked her thumb. Rumor had it that the girls were sent to an orphanage on the Oregon coast or driven south to an internment camp near New Tokyo, the city formerly called Los Angeles. Either way, Wren never saw them at school again. The last criminal had been a middle-aged woman, with bruised eyes and a broken nose, but who kept her head held high until the very end. Wren had just turned 11 and was burning with winter fever that would nearly kill him. But that hadn't stopped him from watching the execution, because attendance was mandatory and because the criminal was his mother. While the crowd had gathered on the sunny beach, Wren wheezed and leaned on his father's broad shoulder. 40 feet above their heads, the soldiers marched Wren's mom to the lip of the killing cliffs. Wren's father held back tears while Wren almost threw up. Neither of them could do a thing except watch. The executioner sharpened his long blade, while Crown Prince Takamado of the Western American Territories lifted a bullhorn to his lips. First came the charges: treason, then the sentence: death. Through it all, Wren's mother never flinched, even though she would soon meet a slow and painful end. She stared out at the cold waves before she searched the crowd for her family. When their eyes met, she nodded at her husband, and she gave Wren, her son, her only child, one last smile. "Don't look," she mouthed to them both. Wren's father tried to shield his son's eyes, but Wren struggled free. "Help her," Wren whispered desperately. "We have to help her." But the sword plunged in fast. The blood poured in a rush, and Wren collapsed to the sand. That would be the last execution in the town of White Crescent Bay. Until today.